Well, for more on Erdogan's comments, I'm joined now by Mehmet Solmaz. He is a news editor at Delhi Sabah newspaper. Mehmet, thanks for joining us. What is it exactly that Erdogan does not want to change regarding Turkey's anti-terror laws here?
Well, President Erdogan had continuously for the past 3 weeks expressed his frustration about the EU deal. He says there are no migrants going anymore to Europe, and in some days Greek islands see 0 migrants at their coasts. And on the other side, Turkey had not received any of the promised funds. Only little amount of funds were received, and as we know, those funds are used for Syrian refugees within Turkey. And in terms of the visa deal, there are other countries which are outside of Europe, such as Paraguay, Uruguay, and United Arab Emirates, and they did not fulfill these 72 benchmarks that the EU wants. And Turkey says, we have the HKPC, we have the PKK, and we now got Daesh at our southern border. And while we are fighting against all these terrorist organizations, we could not alter our anti-terror law. And President Erdogan also cites EU's sincerity. He questions EU's sincerity, saying that you let PKK members to erect their tents just outside of EU headquarters and also outside of the EU Parliament. So EU's sincerity and EU's lack of understanding of Turkey's security concerns, and also not promising the pledges that were made in the EU deal between Turkey and EU is really a problem for now.
Okay, let me ask you, as for the presidential system that Erdogan is pushing for, ultimately a referendum will be necessary to institute that if it passes through Parliament first. So will either of those steps actually take place?
If the nationalist MHP gives support to the ruling AK party, the Parliament will most probably pass a referendum for the constitution. However, there's this question: is the constitutional change going to include the presidential system, or if there's going to be a separate referendum for the constitution? I personally think that if the MHP gives support or not for this to go through the parliament, the AK party will somehow get this job done at the end of the year. If they fail to get it through the parliament, what we're possibly going to see is an early election, another election that would probably by the September or October.
And then how do you think that would fare with the Turkish public?
Well, according to public surveys, even one of the staunch anti-government public surveyor called Gezici Research, affiliated with the Gezi Park protests, they announced that the support for the AK party is currently around 56%. What they had received in November was 49.5%. And in terms of people's support for the presidential system, it is well above 60%. And it seems like Turkish public is backing their president, and his idea of changing the country's system from the parliamentarian one into a presidential one.
Mehmet Solmaz, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights on TRT World.